What's up, everybody? How are you doing today? You guys already know the settings. You guys already know what you're supposed to do when it comes to these pocket cameras, right? So I'm going handheld today. I'm actually on the way to get some coffee. You know what I was thinking for this camera too is I was thinking of actually changing the cage and getting the cage that basically has like the 3 1/4 threads like on the bottom and on the side, so you can mount extra stuff to it. But the main reason why is because I think it'll make it a little bit easier instead of always having to have the quick release clip for the Action 5 and all that stuff. Is if you have a 3 1/4 thread directly on or for the camera, you can just quickly pop them on and off. I just set the camera up on top of my dash, so hopefully it's not too shaky or too jittery for you guys. Let me know how it looks right now. I honestly just put it on my dash up here, so I do have like this. Sorry, it's all like faded and stuff. Let me know how this looks right now. I love the 4.3 aspect ratio, and I know Luis was saying that it looks dope like on the iPad, so I had to go ahead and check that out on my tablet. And yeah, it looks dope. And I have the folding phone, and what makes the 4.3 even better is I don't know how it is like on a regular phone, but if you know how you can like fit the screen, so like if you like almost zoom in on a video, if you do that on a 4.3 and it fits your whole phone, it looks amazing. Again, I don't know how it looks like on a regular phone, but I know for sure if you watch it like on a folding phone, it looks so dope. By the time this video comes out, I had already released the Super Night Mode video where I was setting up the bounce house for the kids, and you guys let me know how that one had looked, if that video kind of helped you guys get a different perspective of using Super Night Mode. And I didn't do much color grading with it, but I did notice that the 4.3 aspect ratio does not work in Super Night Mode, so you're pretty limited on like what you can do with 4.3. So it basically just takes it back to 16:9. There's no D-Log M, so it's already like, you know, in the normal color bit. It likes to have its own like programming and like how it has to balance out color and light and things like that, especially in darker areas. And it's a very useful feature. So when I was watching a lot of videos of people using the Super Night Mode, if you go walking in the city or something like that, which I'm pretty sure Julian Rowland, hey bro, if you're watching this, man, if you would ever take up the challenge of using Super Night Mode and walking through the city of Chicago, I don't live next to any like major cities. I think the nearest one is LA. I am working on a video where I did the night mode with the OP3. I wasn't able to test the Super Night Mode for the Action 5, but I was on the OP3, and I'll be releasing that video pretty soon and kind of show you guys just a little bit clips here and there of like us just walking around on the low light mode for the OP3. And I know they got 2 different names because I think the night mode on the Action 5 works better than the night mode on the OP3, if I'm not mistaken. As far as I know, I just know that the night mode on both the cameras do so good. Like even when I use night mode pictures, night mode photography on like my phone, they're really good, but you can definitely tell that there's still a lot of noise in the darker areas and stuff like that, like especially like in the sky. But I am here at the coffee shop, and the coffee shop is called The Grind. Man, I think this coffee shop is maybe about a good like 20 minutes away, but it's worth it though, like honestly. And I think this coffee spot has one of my favorite coffees that's pretty close to this coffee that I used to get up in Seattle. And this place is called The Grind. Got the coffee. Let's go. Something about the first sip of coffee, and I know it's like midday, Right now it's like 12 o'clock. Yeah, something about the first sip of the first coffee, no matter what time of the day you have it, it just hits right, like to the soul. Some things I wanted to talk about, honestly, during this this bare bones vlog is basically I have to stop like overthinking my videos, overthinking the creative process of content creation. And I know we can get so worked up on like, is my angles okay? Is my shot selection okay? Is my framing perfect? Is my color grade perfect? And is my music perfect? And things like that. And honestly, it's a lot to consume in, especially as like a new YouTuber, a new vlogger. And on top of being a new vlogger, now you're adding in the fear of vlogging, you're adding in the fear of talking in public. Even if like you're an introvert, you know, and even though I'm not introvert, you know, per se, it's more of like, I'm just not a good talker in general. So when I have to talk or when I have to express things that come to mind, it's hard for me to relay the information without over explaining. I'm gonna hold the camera because just for a little bit, because this road is really bumpy and I forgot my mount for this camera, and it's just I just don't want it to be too shaky or anything like that. And I guess it goes back to this thinking of like overthinking, right? But there's some truth to overthinking the process of creating, but then there's also like learning to kind of lean back a little bit and just say, okay, you know, what I may think is not a good angle for somebody or a good talking point or good color or something like that, to somebody else it might be good. You don't know until you hear the feedback from, you know, the comments, or you hear feedback from, you know, whoever you want to see the video. And if it's that big of a concern, if it honestly comes down to the point where you're just overthinking, you know, how your video is, the sound, the color, the angles and things like that, maybe make the video, export it, and then, you know, have it on your phone and show a family member, whether it's your wife, your husband, your kids, or something like that. Just somebody who can tell you the truth without being too harsh on you, I guess, you know how to say it. So, and honestly, that's how it started with me. I would make my videos, like when I first just like started making any videos at all, and it was just my drone footages for some of the travel that we would do. And what I did was I made it through an app. I don't even know what it was called. I think it was called like UCut or something like that. And it was a free app. I downloaded it and then made my first film with it. I just remember making the video and then just showing it to my kids and my wife first. And they were like, wow, that was pretty good. That was the motivation that I needed to continue doing what I was doing. And then I enjoyed the process. If it's too stressful, if it's too overwhelming, you gotta take breaks. You gotta say, okay, I'm gonna work on this video for an hour, and then do a self-check with yourself and just say, okay, am I getting too stressed out? Am I overthinking everything? And sometimes it's good to work on some edits and things like that, some content, and then pull back, take a break, and then come back to it. And if you have to rewatch it, you might have a fresh mindset to say, hey, you know what? I think I can do a better transition here, or I think I can, you know, maybe add a text or something that explains this part of the video. And you just never know that break that you took, that mental break that you took, and then coming back might actually make that video like 10 times better. You never know. It's good to just kind of check yourself when it comes to, you know, doing this content creation. And this bare bones vlogging is honestly so refreshing to me, because I was at this point where I was comparing myself and comparing my videos to people who have been in this game for so long. And for what? For what? Why did I need to compare myself to people who have been editing, vlogging, and, you know, being on YouTube for years. And even if they haven't been on for years prior to YouTube, they were already in the photography or the videography, you know, like industry basically. And now I'm starting to have this outlook on YouTube that I never had before. And it basically, when I watch somebody's video, it's like, okay, what about this inspired me? What about this is teaching me something? And what about this can I take away and apply to my own videos? And honestly, that right there, I think is gold in itself. Especially me as a person can honestly watch somebody's video, learn from it, and then apply it into my own videos and my own content creation and get better with it. How much more like value did I add to not just the video or the content that I'm creating, but how much more value am I adding to myself, to yourself? And that's the perfect like way and the perfect mindset to have when it comes to doing YouTube and comes to content creation. Because if you're not gonna have the mindset of self-improvement, self-growth, self-value, and you're just creating content, stressing about it, and then it takes you, you know, weeks, months to even put out, you know, less than a 10-minute video, for you to still watch it, look back and be like, I could have did better, then like, what are we doing here, right? Like, what are we doing here? So I think the best mindset to have is to have this outlook of YouTube and vlogging and content creation. Step into it with a positive mindset, step into it with intentions to grow, intentions to get better, intentions to help people. And that's ultimately where I want to be, and that's ultimately what I'm trying to achieve in every video, in every aspect that I'm going into when it comes to content creation. So I'm starting to think that as content creators, we have to understand our own gifts, talents, and abilities, and we have to learn that we need to grow in those gifts, talents, and abilities, whether it's content creation or whether it's your 9 to 5. So just trying to keep a positive outlook on your content creation and just not overwhelming yourself, not overworking yourself, especially if this is not a full-time thing or if you're not monetized. And honestly, that's why I'm liking this bare bones like vlogging style, because it gives me this freedom to take you guys with me in simple like day-to-day errands or runs that I gotta do. And something as simple as getting food and coffee, I can hopefully try to pour some inspiration to you watching this, and you're not getting car sick because the camera's all shaking, but getting value out of this and getting value out of other content creators that are, you know, inspiring and that are definitely inspiring me. And there's so much credit and so much shout outs that I gotta give to now, because I made a video that is in a community of supporters. This community of bare bones vlogging and the walkie-talkie is just amazing. I mean, Julian, Luis, Eljong, man, like, you know, those guys have been the most inspiring for me to step my game up as far as just going out there and shooting. That's what we got to do as content creators, man. I'm telling you, like, a lot of you guys that live in like big cities and a lot of you guys that live in like places that you can go to that are nice to see and wanting to travel to, and that's pretty dope, because that's information I can use if I were to travel to like Chicago or travel to New York or something like that. Like, I can watch those guys' videos and be like, okay, cool, I gotta try out this spot, I gotta try out this spot. And then I can easily hit them up and be like, hey, what do you guys recommend if I were to come in this area of this city or this town or whatever? And vice versa, you know, if they come out here to Cali or somebody comes out here to Cali and you guys want to know like what to do out here in Cali instead of just like the typical Disneyland or like the typical beach, you know what I mean? Like, you can see that there's so much to do in so many different areas of the country and so many different places that, you know, it's inspiring to know that there's a community you can go to and, you know, reach out to them and be like, hey man, you know, what's a dope spot to eat at? What's a dope spot to go get some coffee? Or, you know, what's a good place for, you know, to bring my kids and my family and stuff like that. So that's what I love about this community right now. And because it's so real, so authentic on like how we vlog, that reaching out to these kind of content creators, it's a lot easier, because then if you go onto a content creator who has like 100,000+ subscribers, it's more likely that your comment will kind of get lost in the sauce, or, you know, other people will kind of overlook it, and you know, some people don't really help each other out. But I just kind of hope that if I ever get to a place in this content creation on YouTube or social media or whatever, that I don't lose that sense of being humbled. I don't want to lose that sense of like knowing where I come from, knowing where I started. And I just always want to make these kind of videos to just not only remind myself, but to also remind you guys that if you're watching this, to not step on your own toes or get ahead of yourself and think that you're better than somebody, or think that, you know, somebody can't be as creative as you. It's just like any other kind of 9-to-5 job, where this social media is trends. So when one trend has millions of views or millions of replicas because people are trying to do it as well, it doesn't mean that somebody isn't going to start something else and now that trend has left yours and moved on to the next. So you have to just be able to accept everything as it comes and enjoy the process as you're growing. Because if you don't enjoy and stay humble about like where you're at now, and 2, 5, 6, 10 years later or whatever, you know, you get to this point where you're just like, man, just ultimately just trying to be a good person, just trying to be humble, just trying to be, you know, giving, and just trying to be just that good light in a world of darkness. And I just know that that also comes along with my faith, and just knowing that, you know, my life is in God's hands, and there's so many things that are out of my control in this world. Now, as long as I'm trusting God, that I'm gonna be okay, because I don't have to worry about the things that I can't control, because He's already there making a way for me. So that's where my hope and my faith is in. And I try to bring that into my content creation and into our business.
I had 4 other drivers come cancel because they can't grab it.
Cool.
You guys are set though.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Ooh, it's bright out here. Came out to Lowe's, had to do an order pickup, had to get a new garden hose and an air filter for the AC at the house. So I just did an order pickup. It's just a little bit easier. This guy gonna say something? Hey, what's up, bro?
Where you finding your things?
Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just look up window visors. Yeah, window visors, and you'll find all sorts. Yeah, it just depends if you want it like thinner or if you want it more bulky, because they have ones that pop out more. But then there's some that are like really thin. Just depends.
Right.
But yeah, no worries.
Take care.
You too. All right, so from Home Depot, I did get the air filters for the air vents here. So I got one there, and then I have one over there that I gotta go ahead and replace. So this is the old one. See how dirty that is? And this is the new one. Pretty simple. It's funny because those air filters are something that you kind of don't think about changing.